in the summertime with using AC. And with using stack ventilation, I can also get fresh air as well. I've also added filters into the sustainable house, which you'll see pictures of, to filter out the leaves, the pollen, etc. So rain runoff, I went with rain runoff because I can collect the rain in barrels and use it for other necessities that I may need, especially for the hydroponic system that I'm planning on having. The stained glass windows, so during our research that we were going through, me and Elizabeth, we found out that stained glass windows actually are a sustainable resource. And they're made up of recycled materials, but they can also bring in more light, and they also look very beautiful, and they can liven up anywhere mid-rain.
You cleaned up? Put the paper and pencil.
The geometry that was used in the Pennsylvania house was rectangular prisms, cubes, cylinders, half circles, and then the perimeter of the house, the area of the house, and the volume, you can see those measurements there. So this is the front view of the house. As you can see, the stained glass windows are there. The filters are also in the stack ventilation up at the top of the roof, and this is only one story as well. And then this is the back side where it also has.
I like the stained glass windows.
The orange is the gutters, which would lead to the rain runoff, and then that would be the stained glass windows are what the colorful looking images are, and then more of the filters and that stuff.
For the New Mexico house, we used rectangular prisms, cylinders, and semicircles. Inside the barn, we have stack ventilation, and then we have like sheep, chickens, horses. We have pigs at the farm too. And like for example, chickens are sustainable because they can provide both meat and eggs. Horses can provide transportation, and it's good not to use something that puts CO2 emissions in the air. But our dimensions for the perimeter was 26.69 inches, and then the area was 42.84 square inches. The volume was 124.40 cubic inches. So we have a couple of pictures here. We laser cut the house. So this is it, and like as you can see, the stack ventilation on top. We have stalls for like the horses and other animals. Okay, so the picture on the right here is actually what it's looking like now. You can see like there's a horse near the tree, and over by the
know how much the wall actually needs paint rather than finding the entire surface area, because then you're having excess of it. Then you have green roof material or measurements. The green roof, you need to know the area in case your seed per square foot or something. You don't want to over or under purchase supplies for it. And then the perimeter, you might want to put a glass building around it to protect it from harsh environments. You might want to put a fence around it to protect it from wildlife. The sustainability features. The Earthship-like home that we designed for Pennsylvania has an abundant amount of features which proves its worth in sustainability. We incorporated a green roof due to Pennsylvania's sunny summers, along with their nice rainy days. There are windows on the first floor in the roof to allow natural airflow to flow within the house. There's also a smartly designed subfloor which is underground for natural insulation, which means the portion of the house will stay warm throughout the winter, but nice and cool in the summer, because it holds a certain temperature. As we could not add many renewable features to the design because of Pennsylvania's severe climate, it is still very sustainable and usable for future generations. we couldn't add too many renewable sources of energy because Pennsylvania, you don't get a lot of sunlight, you don't really get a lot of wind because there's a lot of mountains, and there's no geothermal energy either. The renewable food source. Whenever we were making this house, we realized that there was a unique way of incorporating a renewable food source. We added a green roof on the roof of the house so it gets natural sunlight and water, and it also occupies less space since it's not on the ground. Renewable water source. It has a high frequency of raining in Pennsylvania, so we added in gutters to the house, which would have filters in them. We didn't model them, but the idea is that they have filters in them. Then they get collected into a storage container underground. That way, nothing can contaminate them. Then, if you have to, you can use them for gray water, potable water, and many other things, washing dishes, stuff like that. And then that is the end of the Google slide. This is what it looks like in Tinkercad. We did add stuff on the inside, but whenever it got scaled down for 3D printing, the other stuff wouldn't size down, so nothing's really to scale in there. The brown part represents the dirt, the part that would be underneath the ground. The red part represents the stuff that you would see, and then the gray is the roof, and then up top are the gardens with the 2 windows.
So that's our New Mexico house. It has solar panels, like water collection system, green roofs, windows, to say more. So, and the Pennsylvania house has green roofs, arches, windows.
Oh, Clinton, Jude's going to talk about the Pennsylvania house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Yeah, so currently what we have, or what we're finishing with is the green roofs, and we also have a lot of windows. So right here, I couldn't really make it that well in Tinkercad, but these are windows, and these are just like open spaces because it opens into a courtyard. So that means that air is flowing through here and keeping this hallway cool without having to have or it's keeping the hallway cool or keeping the hallway warm, depending on what season it's in. And also a lot of the shapes we use and a lot of the things we use is just rectangles only. It's a very rectangular house. And the green roofs as well, I would have made them taller actually, but the green roofs up here, they can hold a lot of different types of organisms. They can hold a lot of plants, a lot of birds, rodents like squirrels or chipmunks. They can all live up there, and it really provides a lot to the ecosystem around them. And Wiley is going to now explain the sustainability features for each house and just kind of sum it up and sum up the volume.
So, as shown in the slide, on the New Mexico house, we had the green roofs, the solar panels, the cooling airflow, water collection, and everything else, blah, blah, blah. And then we also had the volume, which is, length times width times height, which we had our measurements there. And on the Pennsylvania house, we had the green roofs, cooling airflow, and skylights, and we also had the measurements for that.
Sustainability features. Solar panels are on top of our roof. It improves air quality and reduces wasted water from energy production. Passive ventilation creates natural cooling and eliminates the need for electric cooling systems. Garden cleans the air and absorbs carbon dioxide and other air geometry. Roof is triangular prism, it's on the roof. Rectangular prism is for our garden, and we have another rectangular.
Yeah, could you switch? So Anya is the master designer here on the interior and everything. There's a lot going on in the middle. We have obviously the master bedroom. We have the office and bathroom. We have the second bedroom, living room. We have the kitchen, dining room, and pantry sections. Can you switch it? And then here's the master bedroom.
Oh, it is?
Here's the office and bathroom. Second bedroom. This living room. And the disposal bins for our recycling and trash. And then the kitchen and everything. We have wind turbines because in PA that is one of the most sustainable use of energy since we don't get a lot of sun here, unfortunately. And then we added a green roof on top for we added a green roof on the roof just so that it didn't take up a lot of room. We added wind turbines obviously for energy. We added the ventilation and the lighting so that we didn't have to use as much electricity. Do you want to take the last slide on here?
Yeah. So the windows, cement, cloth, or furniture and stuff, and the wood are, I don't think they could be considered sustainability features, but they could be considered eco-friendly because the windows are made of aluminum, which reduces a lot of having to cut down a ton of trees, and it's the third most abundant element in the Earth's crust, which means there's a ton of it, and we can just use that. The cement, which I think is pretty interesting, is made out of mainly cement, but 15% limestone, which has healing properties. So usually a building would start decaying after a while, but when those cracks appear in the cement, the limestone heals those cracks, which makes the building last longer. The cloth would be made out of linen, which comes from the flax crop, which is a lot better than a lot of man-made materials like poly something. I can't remember the name, but it takes hundreds of years to decompose, which really isn't that great for our environment. And stuff like counters, the triangular prism, which isn't very abundant in our building, but it's still there. Rectangular prisms for majority of it. The house itself, a lot of the materials. And then lastly, cylinders, which is also very frequent in the furniture. And that's all.
Water, so like filter it, and then we can use it to water our plants.
Renewable food sources. The garden and flower crops alone provide food and natural attraction for bees and other insects to pollinate the plant which are being grown. These are sprinklers in the garden which take the collected water, rainwater, and other sources of water and distribute the water evenly among the garden. If you would want to cut down on energy further, then you could disable the sprinklers and use the collected water by hand to water the plants. Renewable water source. As mentioned previously, there's a rain collection system. The rain falls, goes down the gutter, and then make its way through several filters and into a storage container for safe keeping. Although we did not model a filter or storage, we have developed a way how it will be stored underground and used similar to that of as well. Renewable energy source. There are many solar panels on the roof of the house, and geothermal pumped due to New Mexico's